was me troubleshooting a bad transmission leak I had on the 85 C10. And when I first got up under it and tried to find where it's looking for, or find where it's coming from, I couldn't find it, and I was worried it was the front seal. And so I cleaned everything, cleaned the transmission real good with brake cleaner because it was just covered in transmission fluid on the right side. And took it for a drive, and when I got back, I could see, I thought, where it was coming from. And I'll show you what I found. This is a pressure switch. Alright, so you can see it's clean. So the switch was leaking, and hang on, back this way. Engine a 16th. It's one of those sockets for sending units, I think. And this one I turned down on the lathe. Well, I originally ground it down because it wouldn't fit up. It was too thick to go up against the case of the transmission. And I did that when I first rebuilt this transmission, and it looked pretty sorry. So, and it still fit a little tight. So I took just a hair more off with the lathe, and it just unscrews. And I don't use Teflon tape. I use a little bit of the Teflon paste and put on there. And I had another switch because this one I think was original to the transmission. The other one was original. I don't know. I had, you know, for those that aren't familiar, I rebuilt the transmission in this one, in this truck. And what happened on it, it had lost reverse. This will just be a quick run through. Lost reverse, tore it down, and that's when it had been sitting for years, and it was my grandfather's. We rebuilt the transmission like 20 years ago. No, more than that. Yeah, it could have been about 20 years ago, a little more maybe. It's sticking out in my head, maybe 93, something like that, 1993. We rebuilt the transmission, and it worked fine for a long time, and eventually it lost reverse. And when I tore down into it, and it sat years and years and years. My grandfather passed away. After he passed away, I got it out, got it running, and pulled the transmission out. Well, I did some troubleshooting first, and it determined I'm going to have to pull the transmission. Pulled it out and determined that the case was bad. It busted out a lug in the case. I'll show you. This is the original case for that transmission, and if you look, this holds the snap ring, and they're busted out. It busted 3 of those out. So looked on Craigslist, found another transmission, and decided to just tear into it. It looked rough. Tore into it, and it had some burnt clutches in it. Rebuilt it, and that's what's in the truck. So I had another pressure switch. I don't know which one's which now, you know, if this one was the original one to that case or the one that's in the truck. But in my little thing of parts, I grabbed the other switch and I just threw it in the truck. So we'll see if that fixes it. If that others. I mean, I know that's where it was leaking, but we'll see if that switch is good. It doesn't appear to be leaking on idle, so we'll take it down the road and then see. I sprayed it with brake cleaner real good, so we'll know if it's stopped. All right, let's see. And we are still dry. Check the same round of I just went up after I cleaned it off. I ran up to the gas station, ran back, and it had, that's all the transmission fluid that was showing was just from that short little trip. And so I took that same trip as a test after putting the new switch in, and it of course soaked the after I replace the switch, it's dry, so we're good. We are in good shape. Truck is all fixed up. Thanks for watching.